Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Welcome, welcome, welcome.
What's new?
A lot. Very busy weeks, very active weeks. We're seeing a ton of engagement with community. We're seeing a lot of community members we found or found us through existing community members through Twitter, etc., starting to code Oracle programs, largely as a result of the campaign we're doing, where we invite people to build Oracle programs and reward. This is really cool to see. And I think the issues that have been run into by the people building these programs have been pretty minimal. And that is extremely exciting to see from our end. Other than that, we have been working towards mainnet. Testing is going relatively well. We've not had any network interruptions in a while. All issues that caused interruptions over the last weeks have been solved and pushed out in a testnet upgrade that went live yesterday evening. This succeeded. We did an expedited testnet upgrade, which was great, worked super well. And yeah, it's chugging along greatly. Other than that, we just announced that DXFeed, our first sort of like institutional data provider, has onboarded onto testnet. So you can use their data and actually query, what is it, a few thousand stocks and a bunch of other stuff that they offer through their APIs. And this is the same data that also gets consumed by huge companies such as Robinhood and a lot more. So that's extremely exciting. E-Trade, NASDAQ.
Last time we talked was before the offsite, so all the engineers got some FaceTime together. Can you maybe give us a little wrap of how the week came? Everyone getting to get the lock-in the engineering room?
No, I think having the engineers together is always an extremely productive time during these offsites. So just being face to face, being in the same room allows for some deeper, closer communication. Even though we have like good measures in place as we're a remote first company to communicate, like using Gather, for example. I still feel like during these weeks, it's a great time to actually align everybody in the company. That includes the business team as well. But for engineering, pointing our noses on the same directions, reprioritizing, and just sort of like spreading the message of it's time to lock in, it's time to like launch time is here, is really important. And so yeah, taking the measures, making sure there's a plan for an actual mainnet launch was extremely helpful to be together at the same time. And yeah, it was as always, it was productive. It was good.
So we integrated with Conduit. Tell us about that.
So yeah, we have also integrated with Conduit. Conduit is a rollups as a service provider. And the thing that's exciting there and why SEDA is such a good fit for this is that with these rollups as a service providers, what they do essentially is allow people to spin up L2s really, really quickly. And one of the main bottlenecks of L2s is sort of like having core infrastructure to go live at launch, right? So this means interrupt, this means oracles, this means price feeds, so that developers and themselves, if they're building application-specific rollups, can actually build the things that they want to build. So with this partnership, what we're building towards is sort of like a one-click deployment, where if you deploy a rollup, it automatically also deploys a SEDA core contract on that rollup and a SEDA prover pointing to that rollup, so that at day one, you immediately have access to the full SEDA data stack, which could or will also include interrupt. So essentially, you'll have like interoperability and sort of like access to our full suite of data when you launch a chain with Conduit, if you so choose, which is extremely exciting because like one of the main selling points of SEDA is that we are able to scale horizontally really, really quickly. And having a partner like Conduit who can help us sort of like get into the hands of developers even easier is extremely valuable to us.
Bay?
Also, not only has the DXFeed gone live as a data proxy, we've also seen the first Oracle programs actually querying their data. And we're right now working on a slightly altered solver model that allows us to query SEDA chain directly. So basically create and push data requests to SEDA at a certain interval and then immediately push it to an array of L1s or L2s. And so we'll be seeing sort of like these first data providers spread their data far, wide, and fast, which is also very, very exciting. And probably we got our two chief vibe coding officers here in the call as well. You guys basically become sort of like AI ran engineers. I don't know if you guys are pressing run on their AI or the AI is pressing run on you guys by this point, but how's the experience been for you?
It's been really cool. And I went from sort of like a time to feed deployment of sort of probably 90 to 60 minutes down to 10 minutes yesterday. And I think I can get it down to 5. Yeah, a lot of the learnings are just making sure you choose the right data feeds and you sort of vet things before you try to build an Oracle program with it. And that's really nice because it's not a SEDA related thing. It's just making sure that the feeds you have access to, the data is clean and it's coming in a format that you expect it to. So yeah, I'm really excited for the rest of this week to build some more complex ones, looking at a proxy today and combining multiple feeds together and doing some really interesting indexing stuff.
Also, there is the vibe coding guide that we've been building. So we've been really embracing the vibe code mentality and trying to like get ahead of this. I know, Ben, that you've been working on refining this. How's that been going for you? What are sort of like the learnings there? Like what are some of the pitfalls when vibe coding these programs? And what are some of the tools we can employ to make things easier for us and future vibe coders?
Yeah, it's a good question. I mean, Cursor tends to create a different response with the same prompts. So we've ended up, one of the engineers put a Cursor file in the GitHub repo so that every time that gets cloned, it includes a set of instructions in the file itself. I think what tends to happen after you've had a relatively long conversation is it forgets a lot of the early details. So by including a Cursor specific file in the file structure, it constantly can refer back to the SEDA docs and make sure that it's aligning. And I was testing that yesterday. That's now gone live and it's working much better. It makes the prompting experience much easier because you can actually focus on the feed that you want to query and what you want to do with the data as opposed to trying to tell Cursor how to work with SEDA. So I think that's probably one of the main reasons that the time to feed has come down so much is that just the prompting experience is much easier, much faster.
Very cool. So we're seeing that some of the SEDA raw dog engineers are also good at the prompt engineering. So it translates to some extent.
It's pretty funny having a few experiences sitting down with one of the engineers and looking at the code that Cursor puts out. Half the time they're really impressed and half the time they're like, wait, what is it trying to do here? This makes no sense. What's good is when it makes no sense, they come up with a nice prompt that actually course corrects it. And then that's something we bake into either the guide or the actual Cursor file that goes along with it. So it's course correcting as we go and it's getting easier and easier and more accurate.
That's really cool to see. I also think that that this idea of like we as engineers, like the skill will no longer be to output as much code as you can, but just to be able to review code really, really quickly as it comes out and be able to sort of give instructions on how to adjust it, I think is actually going to be very important. Guys, thanks for having me. Thanks for the questions. Let's fucking go. Let's onward. Let's build this thing. Let's ship.
See you next time.
Bye.